Hi guys, my name is Lobe Bembo and welcome to my YouTube channel. And it's been a while, and this is my second video for the year, and I'm really excited about the topic for today. Today I'll be discussing a topic titled "Knowing God at an Early Age." Like I said in my post earlier, this is really dear to my heart, knowing God at an early age, because it does so much for you than you can ever imagine. It does so much for you than you can ever imagine. Okay, so sometimes some people have it easy, some people have it hard, and some people find their way in between. But the best thing that can happen to you is knowing God at an early age. Because when I say some people have it easy, some people have it easy in the sense that they are brought up in a Christian home. So your parents are, Christians, could be pastors, or really committed Christians in the house of God. Now, if you find yourself in that category, you're blessed. Why? Because they give you the foundation that you need to know God at an early age. Now, either you choose to know Him or not is all position to you. It's your decision if you choose to know Him or not at that stage. But they will create that platform. They'll give you the tools, the knowledge that you need at that particular point in time to know God, and that's key. So for those that in between, you could be a mixed family where probably your father or your mother is a Christian and the other one is not. Is either probably not Christian or probably in another religion, or not just just indifferent. And in that phase, you are not really that born, that commitment is not really there because they don't believe in the same thing. So you're not driven to really know God like you should. And the complicated state is where it's nothing at all. Probably your parents are not Christians at all, probably a different religion, and somehow you stop going to Christianity, probably for your personal love or your personal work. You discover that Christianity is what you want to do. But by and large, either ways you come to the knowledge of God. But key is knowing Him at a young age. A very very vivid or beautiful example I like to use when talking about this is Samuel. For me, Samuel is one person that comes peculiar to me because right from his childhood, even before he was born, when the mother was negotiating with God, she had said, "Oh, if you give me a child, I'm going to give him back to you." So it wasn't a question about keeping him in the first place. It was give me and I give back, and God honored that transaction. And the mother also honored the transaction because she gave him back to God when he was fully weaned, where he didn't need a mother's care anymore. He could stay on his own without a mother and be fine. And she took him to the temple and gave him to Prophet Eli, just as she has promised God. And so from his early age, Samuel knew God. He had a relationship with God, and because Eli taught him all that he knew, so he followed Eli. He watched him do everything that he did and all of that. So he understood, how to conduct himself in God's presence and all of that because he was taught at an early age. And just at an early age, God decided to speak to Samuel. And, for Samuel, hearing God's voice was hearing a familiar voice. And it sounded like Eli to him. But Eli, being knowledgeable like he is, knew that, okay, this sounds familiar. After having three encounters of him coming to meet him, and he knew that, okay, this is something more. It's not me. So he has to be the senior man upstairs, and that's God. And he tells him, okay, if you hear this voice, tell him, oh, it's your servant listening. Speak, Lord, for your servant listening. And Samuel did exactly that, and God began to speak to Samuel and began to reveal things to him that was going to happen to Eli, to his sons, things that were going to happen to the future of Israel and all of that. And Samuel was overwhelmed with all that he heard, especially for the news I heard about his prophet Eli and his sons. And because of being a child and not knowing how to present the bad news to Eli, he was avoiding him for that day. And Eli, being an elder, calls him and says, okay, what did the Lord tell you? And he was being skeptical about telling him because he didn't know how his reaction was going to be. And Eli had to indict him by telling him, okay, if you don't, made him swear, basically, like, okay, if you don't, you're dead, blah blah blah, just scare the little child. And Samuel had to, like, come through and say, okay, this is what happened. And yes, the Lord said this, you're going to die, your sons are going to die. And instead of, Eli to, go back to a quiet place and, talk to God and, try to negotiate with God, he took it and I was like, oh, he's God, let him do what he pleases. And, that's that. And we all know how that ended. But my key point is God started talking to Samuel at an early age. Why? Because he could see that Samuel had a love and a yearning for him. Bible says that God sees the hearts. We can see the outward appearance, we can see your attitude, your character, and all of that. But God sees the heart, and no man can. And he sees the heart, he knows the content of your heart. If your heart is good, if your heart is not, if your heart is wicked or evil, he sees it. So God could see Samuel's heart and he could see his hunger, and so he spoke to him. And the Bible recorded that after that encounter, everything that Samuel said, that God told Samuel, and he said, never, the words never fell to the ground, meaning that God honored every word that Samuel said. And if you watch, if you take your time to read the Bible and watch the life of Samuel, that you see that from every stage of Samuel's life till his very end, he stayed in God. And one of the things that helped Samuel stay in God is knowing him early. Because the brief thing is that if you know God early, it's almost impossible for you to backslide. Why? Because you know your journey, you know how you started, you know where it was there for you when it seemed like all hope was lost. You knew how he delivered you from certain things that no one could, you could not even tell anyone. You knew how you probably were stuck in that exam, and this was a carryover course, and he stood in, and you came out and you are seeing a grade that you didn't even imagine that you would get. So your journey. Nobody can tell you that, God does not exist, because you have seen him come through for you time after time. So it's impossible for you to live a God that you see that is evident. And I tell people that, see, you can feel the Father's love. You can feel his love so much, but you have to create that relationship. And one of the things that happens at an early age is when you get to this teenage age and early teenage age, and growing towards adulthood, you see that you begin to yearn for things. And because of yearning, some people find themselves in the wrong place. Now you begin to yearn for things, and for girls, you think that, it's having a boyfriend or having a girlfriend as a guy that is what you're yearning for, because you feel this emptiness that needs to be filled, and you feel like they can be felt or filled with say an opposite sex and all of that. And you see, you get that, and you see that emptiness still remains. And some people get so carried away, and they go into bad things. They get into drinking, they get into smoking, they get into use of drugs. Some get into pornography, get into doing so many things that they're not supposed to do. Why? Because they're yearning for something. They're yearning for that hunger, to really reach out and get that emptiness filled. But at this point in time, it is just your spirit man yearning for that relationship with God. God put that hunger for him in every man that he created. Every man that he created has that hunger for. You get to that stage where you feel like you're hungry for something, but you cannot tell what that is. But if you let him, you see that emptiness is filled. The Bible says that God stands at the door of our hearts. He's knocking, and he's waiting for us to open the door. And if we open the door, he will come in and sup with you. God is interested in everything that concerns you. He's interested in how you look. He's interested in how you dress. He's interested in everything that concerns you. But you need to be interested in him. The beautiful thing about him is that God is the only one that created us, and he did not forcefully make us serve him. He made it a choice. So he says, I've given you life and death. Choose life that you might live. So it's up to you to choose that, okay, I want to choose life, or I want to choose death. But he has made it available, that he has given you an option to pick what you want. He has given you an option to pick what you want to do with your life, and not make it enforce his will on you. So choosing life is choosing God. And knowing him at an early age, it gives you purpose. Sometimes we live our life in routines. You wake up in the morning, you're doing this here, you're going to school. For those that are students, you're preparing to go to for class. For those that are still in uni, or those that are going to work, preparing to go to work. Your life becomes a routine. And sometimes it makes no sense. It's like, is this life just for me to live a routine? But when you have God in your life, I tell your life, you begin to find purpose in that life. That your routine that looks like it doesn't make sense, you begin to find purpose. You begin to connect the dots those things that seem like, okay, so why am I here? What is the bigger picture, apart from, going to school, acquiring a degree, getting a job, having a family? What's my purpose? Your purpose begins to make sense, because if you let God in, He will let Himself in, and He will complete you, and your purpose begins to align. What He wants you to do at every point in time, He begins to speak to you, and they begin to align, and they begin to make sense, and you begin to cause impact. And you see so many people, great men of God, it's because they allowed God in, and He could see their purpose, He could see their calling. If you don't let Him in, you don't know your purpose, you don't know your calling. Your life is just a routine, your life is just a phase. And that's why you see people that have achieved so much can commit suicide, because why? God is not in there, so they feel empty. They feel, oh, I've acquired all this ability, so what is more to it? What is more than just this daily routine, this making money, this giving a family? But when you let God in, He settles everything. Life makes sense. You find joy overflows in you, whether it's good or it's not good. You're happy. Why? Because you know He's in the midst of it, and He's going to perfect everything that concerns you. So guys, that is it for this video for today, knowing God at an early age. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about today's video. Sincerely, our generation today needs to know more about Jesus. So it is your duty, it's my duty, to share God's good news. Let them know that Jesus loves them. Let them know that Jesus can complete them. Let them know that Jesus can give their life a purpose and a direction that they need. So please, if you like today's video, please kindly click on the like button, comment, kindly share, subscribe. Oh, if you have not subscribed, subscribe. Yeah, God bless you. Until I come your way next time, I still remain Love Bembo. Bye, and God bless. Bye.